This is the Carty Method Podcast.
Hey, welcome to another episode of the Carty Method Podcast. It is your favorite day of the week. It is real photo reviews. Every Tuesday and Thursday, I look at viewer-submitted photos. What's up, Andrew? Glad you're here. Every Tuesday, Thursday, I look at viewer-submitted photos. Tuesday, I'm asking you to send me one photo from your portfolio or that you're thinking about for your portfolio so I can help you decide and tell you, yes, this is definitely a picture for your portfolio, or no, not really. And also, it helps me if I know what your niche is. If I know the niche that you're trying to penetrate, that definitely helps decide whether something should be in your portfolio. Making photos for you is one thing. Making photos for your portfolio is showing an example of what you can do to bring value to a specific niche. That is the goal of your portfolio. Thursday, I give you a very targeted assignment, an assignment that is so specific, it is like a brief. I'll say, shoot a location portrait at night, or I'll say, shoot an environmental picture. Now, depending on your niche, on Thursday's assignment, the way that I structure the assignments, it doesn't matter what niche you're in. If you shoot products, it'll be shoot a product photo at night. Shoot a product photo at night. Or shoot a editorial product photo, editorial portrait photo, editorial spaces or architecture. Like, there's always an angle with my assignments that you can apply it to any one of your various niches. All right, so I hope that brings you value. We are about to dive into our submissions. By the way, if you're watching live, I am Steve Carty. This is the first time you've ever seen me. I'm Carty. Thank you for hanging out with me. By the way, if you're in chat live, definitely say hi. I appreciate everybody who is here. We got some submissions, so let me get into... Oh yeah, by the way, I do a show that I've been doing for 3 years. This is going to be the 4th annual Photo of the Year Awards. 4 or 3? 4? Yeah, I think this is the 4th time. But I'm super excited because basically the submissions that I get here during the week for my Tuesday and Thursday show, if you win Best in Show or Photo of the Week, that qualifies you for my Photo of the Year Awards. The thing that's sick about the Photo of the Year Awards, I'm going to be doing a specific show that is like just a celebration of all the photographers that have submitted and won Photo of the Week or Best in Show this year. So super excited. That happens towards the end of the year. I usually do it as like the first episode of the year in 2025, celebrating the best photography from 2024, or I do it sometime in that holiday between Christmas and New Year's. It really depends on the day. Depends on the week. So I haven't looked exactly at what date it is, but how you qualify for Photos of the Year is you definitely have to make sure that you've submitted and you're submitting good stuff and you've won. So that is the goal. All right. So guys, I know the election has thrown a lot of people off, but it's just politics. Don't let it affect your day to day. Like, honestly, we have to move on. It is just an election. They happen every 4 years. I know people are freaking out, but really, I don't talk about politics on this show, so that's what we're not going to do. But know this, life moves on, and the world is looking for your photography. Let's focus on making you a household name as a photographer. Don't stress about who's running your country. All right, let's get into our first submission. Our first submission is Delilah LaBoy. So Delilah says, I don't know, I'm new. Okay. Fujifilm X-T3 51 millimeter and shot at ISO 320, 6.4 at 1/500th of a second. This is Delilah. Delilah, thanks for submitting. Let's get it on. So it helps me when I know what your niche is, what it is that you're trying to shoot. let's look at this. I can see that you've cropped this. Have you pre-cropped this to 4:5? Yes, you have pre-cropped this to 4:5. So let's look at this as a cover. I definitely see the editorial idea here. I definitely see what you're doing as far as executing a cover style photo. For me, and what I'm always hoping to understand is, who is this for? That's the question that you always have to ask yourself whenever you're shooting, is who's this for? Who's going to hire me to shoot this picture? So are you shooting engineering? Are you shooting architecture? Are you what's the angle of the type of work that you're shooting? As far as exposure, good shadow detail under here, really good leading line. Like, I like this. You have to watch your lines to make sure that everything is straight. We can see that this line here is a little bit crooked, and the way that this line runs up here, it's a little bit crooked. But the idea, the exposure, I would work a little bit on highlight detail. So we're bringing in detail back here in the clouds, so we're not losing too much there. But Delilah, you're definitely onto something. I just need to understand what it is that you're trying to shoot. What is your goal? What type of clients are you trying to get? The more that I understand that, the more that I can help you develop your portfolio to speak to that audience. Making photos right now, it seems like you're making photos for yourself, which is how we all start. You make photos for yourself in the beginning. Then you realize nobody cares about the photos you make for yourself. And then you start making photos for a niche that has the ability to hire you. In this situation, taking a picture of a bridge, the bridge isn't paying you to take a picture of it. So who would hire you to take a picture of this bridge? So that's sort of where the mindset has to be if you're trying to make a living at photography. And I'm hoping that you're watching me because you're trying to make a living at photography, which is all that I talk about here. So Delilah, I hope that helps you. Again, I need to have I know that you're new, and I know that you're just new to submitting, but what you can do is, rather than just throwing your hands up and saying, I'm new, I don't know what I'm doing, start talking, start being in the community, and start expressing like what it is that you like, what it is that you love about photography, and what would be your perfect scenario as far as how you would make money with photography. Like, let's start that dialogue. It'll really help you get to the next level with your pictures. I hope that brings you value. That is Delilah. Thank you so much for submitting. All right, Delilah LaBoy, thank you. All right, this is Kyle Gagnier. Kyle says, every portfolio needs an awkward self-portrait, right? So tried creating myself this self-portrait while out on location this summer. Sony A7 IV, Sony 90mm macro G, shot at 200th of a second, 3.5 at ISO 100. This is the one and only Kyle G. Let's get it on, Kyle. Let's go. It's a good shot of the ink. It's the first time I've seen the ink, actually. This is a vibe, Kyle. And I feel like I remember the photo that you took in this scenario. I really like this. Let's look at it as a cover. I'll make this cover a little smaller. I like this vibe, Kyle. Like, it definitely has something. It's friendly. I appreciate the little bit of awkwardness, but the thing that I like is it's likable. Let me show you how this crops. Let me hide that cover or show that. Let me show you how this crops as an 8x10. So this is the potential as to how it could look on Instagram, which is pretty textbook. Like, really, it's pretty textbook the way that you framed this. You gave yourself lots of headroom. You gave yourself lots of space up here. You did drop your eye line like a little bit in the center, but it actually works for this picture because you're giving yourself lots of space here, lots of space here, lots of space here. There's good contrast. You're wearing the right outfit. The bag is a nice separate color, and you have nice leading line leading you back here. So this is a yes all day for me. This can definitely go in your portfolio, Mr. Kyle G. Glad you're back. Good to see you submitting. And yes, this is a yes for me. Welcome. All right. Yeah, I like that a lot, Kyle. So let's see who's next. This is Andrew Streeta. So Andrew's shooting with a Fuji X-T3. Andrew is a fashion photographer from the Seattle area. X-T3 XF 16 to 55. Hoping Andrew is looking at getting a 35, maybe 35 millimeter prime, maybe a 50 millimeter prime. I know you're shooting crop sensor at 24.2 millimeter, 5.6, 1/25th of a second, ISO 80. This is Andrew Streeter. Let's get it on, Andrew. Thanks for submitting. Andrew, this is a vibe. The model's head is too high. That's the first thing that I see, is her head is too high. I'm going to show you. It's something that we always have to be watching, is our head angles. This model's head, we're not seeing enough of the eye contact. You can see how narrow her eyes have to be, because her head is up so high that we're actually seeing directly up her nostrils. The lips look nice from this angle, but it's not an angle that is ever flattering. You can see just the difference as to where her hair is and then where the flyaways are. So the flyaways continue up here. So it's like, because this backlighting is like plus 3 stops, I'm going to say, and you're shooting into shade and exposing for here, the difference is just, it's such a radical difference without you pushing in some light, that I like the location though. Like, I like the background, but this is just a little bit gray. This is just a little bit too gray. The white isn't reading white enough. Yeah, and the skin tone is just also a little bit gray. So for me, this needs a little bit of reprocessing. You'll be able to bring some back up here, but this is like plus 3 stops. So recovering any sky, when you're in this kind of a situation, especially when you're basically aiming directly into the sun, you need a reflector kicking back light into here, or another light lighting this like a studio strobe. And you have to watch the head angle. The head is too high, and the hands touching the face. Oops. The hands touching the face just looks just a little bit extra posed. It's too, I don't know. I would love to see her like a little bit more like just head down looking at camera. And then if you had placed her head against something dark, it wouldn't have given you that extra burn. So yeah, small things, but for all of those reasons, hey ho, let's go. Alessandro, thank you for becoming a new subscriber, my guy. I appreciate you. So yeah, that for me, Andrew, like, I'd like to see some other edits here. That would be dope to see some other edits. Did somebody become a member that I missed? No, we just got a new subscriber. Welcome. So yeah, that's the vibe. Is I think that I'd like to see another edit from this, Andrew. I think the pose, the low contrast, it's a bit gray. Like, there's a couple of those things are making me want to see you, like, A, reprocess this, and B, I want to see the whole shoot. I want to see other ones from this session, because I'm sure that there's a better pose. I hope that brings you value. That is Andrew Streeter. Andrew, let's go. All right. By the way, you too can have your photos reviewed by me if you join my YouTube photo submissions. It happens very simply. All you need to do is go to the Carty method. Thank you. Double graphics. All you need to do is go to thecartymethod.com. You'll see YouTube submissions or YT submissions at the top of the page, and sign up. And you'll get access to my community, and I will start submitting photos or reviewing the photos that you submit. Yeah, and you can see all of this stuff is happening because my chat actually is controlling my stream. Like Calligraphy just made a clip there. All right, let's get into our next shooter. Our next shooter is Samuel Salling. Samuel is in my professional accelerator, and this next little wave of shooters are all in my accelerator. I want you to notice, the level of the photography that you're going to see with people who are in the Carty Method accelerator. All right, this is Samuel Salling. Samuel says, keep it or laser beam it. Another pick from the Reflections assignment a couple of weeks ago. Sony A7 IV with a 50mm 1.4, 5.6 ISO 1250, shot at 100th of a second. This is Samuel Salling. Samuel. I like this, Samuel. It's a vibe. The offset I'm seeing, it feels okay. It feels balanced, but the same thing applied for me with the exposure. The exposure here is over. And I'm going to call this over by a third at least. Yeah, it's about a third over. So I want you to you can see here how we're losing highlights. We're losing highlights in here. We're losing highlights in here. It's really important that we don't lose those highlights, and that has to do with exposure. You're shooting into the shade. Oops. You're shooting into shade. And that's smart because we have very gentle shadows on her face, but the exposure we have to nail. So I would lower the exposure here by a third. And again, I feel like I'm going to need to make some content talking about just nailing exposure and making sure you have it like super like on the money. But listen, other than that, Samuel, there's a vibe here. I'm going to show you as a cover. You can see it's very editorial. So I'm giving you love here. Let me hide that as a cover. Let's show it as a 4x5. And you can see this as an 8x10. It's actually very like it hits. I would want a little bit of eye contact. That's one thing that I want you to be always working on, is thinking about eye contact. It's super important when it comes to portrait photography. The eye contact, you really can't get enough eye contact. So please, more eye contact. And by the way, if you're watching live, hang out and chat, because I have a new setup. So I'm able to look at every single message while I'm actually, like, because I have my chat like right there where the camera is. Like, oh my god, my setup now is so sick. Guys, this is Samuel Salling. Thank you for submitting, Samuel. Just give me this picture with the exposure adjusted just a touch, okay? Samuel. All right. Dr. Natalie Bennett, my portfolio review. I had an opportunity to have a photo session this weekend. I was thinking about including this photo in my portfolio. Shot with the Sony A7 IV with an 85mm 1.4 lens. Shot at ISO 100, 100th of a second at a 4.5. This is Natalie Bennett. Natalie, let's get it on. Okay, Dr. Bennett, I see. Hey, Stephen Bourdeau, let's go back. Stephen Bourdeau, back again, buddy. Thank you for becoming a member. You know, you get the smoke and the light show, my guy. Appreciate you. Thank you for becoming a member. Welcome back. Listen, get the move done. It feels so good. It feels so good when you get that done and set up. It's a good vibe. So I'm looking forward to you having that all set up, my friend. Wow, that smoke. Whew, the light show even, Steve. You see? You get the full effect. All right, let's get back to Dr. Natalie Bennett. Thank you for becoming a member, Steve. Again, Dr. Bennett, I'm seeing what you're doing here. Thank you for submitting, Dr. Natalie Bennett. I appreciate you. So I see a couple of things. Number one, the offset. I want her to just be centered. Like, I want her to be just centered, so all the lines are just leading. But I also want you to look at the horizon line back here and how that horizon line is not exactly straight. So that I'm noticing as well, the horizon line behind her. Oops. Doggy. Snoop Doggy wants to go outside, guys. You gotta give me a second here. This guy is incessant. Please stand by. He's such a, look at him. Tempo. All right, dude. Hang on. Can you hang on? Holy moly. Can you hang on? More packages. So many Amazon boxes, so little time. All right, so let's get back into Dr. Bennett. So, here we go, back to Dr. Bennett. So, Natalie, I feel like the centering, when you're shooting double page, sure, offset. When you have another page here, you know, like, yes, offset. But when you don't have another page there, you have to center your subject. Like, you have to. It's just, I mean, you don't have to, but I'm begging you to. I'm begging you to center your subject here and use these leading lines to lead you to her. Center this circle down here, center this. Let's have a look at this closer. Technically, you're getting much better as far as focus and sharpness. I can see here that you're shooting in shade, but the way that the shade is going, the light is still mainly coming from this direction. So you can see this side of her face is shade and this side of her face is lit. But because it's cross light, because the light, and you can see based on the shadows that the light is coming from this direction. Oops, you're seeing these lines under here, which happens anytime you light something from the side. Her necklace is flipped, which again, these details, like you are responsible for noticing all of those details. I'm not sure if that's flipped or if it actually is flipped. Yeah. You got to just catch all of that stuff. The vibe is you're getting closer. You're wondering if this can be in your portfolio. I just feel like it just needs to be centered. It just needs to be centered. That's all. Like that's the one thing. You can see if I punch this in closer and if I show this frame, oops, and then just move, I can't do that actually. Here, let me hide this. Let me go over here. So, it's a little big. So you can see if I do this and center it like this, like how much more balanced this photo is. So this is what I'm trying to show is like there's other ways that you can crop this composition and make it more balanced. And now that I've cropped it this way, you can see how the horizon line behind her is leaning this way, right? You can see now that I've done it this way, you can see this line here and how that line is not straight. That's kind of distracting, although I feel like the horizon is around here. Hey, yo, thanks for showing my heart rate. All right, so let's go back over here. Let's do this. Let's turn that off. So I hope that helps you, Dr. Bennett. I really want to make sure that we have like you always, whenever you're executing sessions, like You're doing something that's obviously you're doing the best that you can, but I want you to be remembering these things that I talk about during these photo reviews, so you're constantly progressing and getting yourself to the next level. Dr. Natalie Bennett. Thank you for submitting, Natalie. All right, who's next? We're at Justin Mitchell. Justin says this is an existing shot of a New Zealand sailing athlete. She's an Olympic gold medalist, world champion, member of the New Zealand Sail GP team. She's also a sponsored athlete, of the brand of wing foil that she's using. So birds, there's lots of writing here. So I kept this image in my portfolio, but I had doubts now because of the format being so wide and the subject being in the middle. It's not really editorial, but I'd be grateful for feedback. So let's look at the mighty Justin Mitchell. Justin. So the letterbox format makes this feel, I mean, there's such potential in this image, but the format I feel like makes it like a little, it's more of a cinema still than like, I mean, but I do definitely think that it could be in your portfolio. I just think that it needs to be formatted different. So let me show you how I would do it. You can see it here as a double, and then I would just format it like this. I would put it in my portfolio like this. Oops. Like literally like that. That's how I'd put it in my book. So you can see it's the same photo, but it is punched in a little bit more. It's now formatted for an editorial. It's formatted for a double page. There's no black bars. There's no bands. Like for me, this is the format as to how I would show it. I know you're like, I know, but we're losing so much of the photo. It's like, well, again, you cropped this out. So there is more to this photo. But it's center composition, center focused composition is what I'm trying to articulate. It is a center focused composition. So I know there is more to this photo because you cropped it to this format. So give me more of the photo and see how you can offset it. But should this be in your book? Yeah, it should definitely be in your book. It's definitely a vibe. I like it. I just don't like the free cropping. Free cropping doesn't work. Like, oh, I want this to be this high and this long. It's like your photos have to be able to have multiple uses, but you need to show it in such a way that is like a standard 2:3 ratio, and let the designer, the art director who's looking at your portfolio, visualize the different ways that they would use it in their designs. But once you say this is the crop, that just like eliminates like all the other possibilities. So designers and art directors, nice. Designers and art directors are used to seeing like full on like 2:3 format. All right. Oh, my girl's home. Okay, that's why. Can you close that, babe? Babe? Goodness, she just walked away. Okay, give me a sec. All right. Okay, so Justin, I hope that helps you, my guy. I feel like the crop, this is before you met me. As far as the free crop, is this at a level that you can share? Yeah, you should be in your portfolio. It just change the crop, that's all. Give me a standard 2:3. Even if it's in the middle, Even if it's in the middle, give me a standard 2x3. Cool. How that brings you value. That is Justin, the mighty Justin Mitchell, all the way from New Zealand. Yo. All the way from New Zealand. It's pretty dope. So, I have the brand new Mac Mini Pro M4. I just got it. I'm so happy. Like, oh my goodness, I'm so happy with this. And also, the thing that's crazy is, like, I have a supercomputer now. Like, a supercomputer, and it's like, I'm dropping no frames. Like, none. It's so crazy. Like, to have a full-on, like, supercomputer now. If you guys are thinking about switching to Mac because you're still on a PC, if you're thinking about, there's never been a better time to switch to Mac than now. Holy moly. Holy moly. There's never been a better time. All right, guys, let's see our next shooter. And yeah, this is an all Mac setup. I am streaming. I'm doing PC stuff. What people do with the PC, I'm doing with the Mac because I am a Mac snob. I only play with things for creatives. All right. Oh my goodness, these guys with the time warps. Yo, please go easy with the time warps. Remember, this is why I took it away. Okay? Whoever's time warping me, remember, there was a reason that I took it away. Remember that. Okay? You know who you are. All right. So let's get into, Justin, I hope that helps you. Let's get into our next. Joe Franklin. Joe says, Lumix S5 Mark II, 16mm ISO 320, F8 multiple frames blended in Photoshop. Joe Franklin. Let's get it on, Joe. Joe, I'm feeling this vibe. What I want you to notice is there's like an ism for like where you drop your center line. Oop, that's the wrong one. Yeah, we always drop that center line directly on your gutter, which, I mean, I guess is fine. This is very straight and linear. Again, this is a very small space, but this is technically perfect, Joe. So this is a yes for me. This is a yes. Let me move the frame. Yeah, this is a yes. It's technically perfect. The lines are straight. It's very, very disciplined. One of your more disciplined frames. I know that, like, again, I've made comments on interior design and the styling of the homes that you're shooting. You don't have a lot of choice over that. I do know that also there's not a lot of options for you to shoot this shower without having this block here. It's pretty much like impossible. It's there, and there's no real other way for you to shoot this room without showing it. The only thing I'm thinking is like this little shower puff didn't need to be here, but that's really the only thing. Everything else for me, Joe, is a 10 out of 10. I'm giving you an 11 on this one, my guy. This is pretty much perfect. Pretty much perfect, Joe. Pretty much perfect. By the way, how's my volume? I show like that I'm hot, meaning I show that I'm coming up a little loud. You tell me if my volume is perfect or if you feel like my volume is loud. Do let me know. Volume is good, says Garan. Okay, good shit. All right, again, imagine I'm on a new setup. So amazing, thank you. So this is Juan Herrera. Juan says, crew, I am considering this for my portfolio. I would like your feedback, Carty. So Canon EOS R24-105 at 90. Shot at f13, 1/25 of a second at ISO 100. This is, oh, look at me showing you my notes. I forgot to switch screens. Oh my goodness. Know that like my, thanks Matthew. Know that my setup is new. So these first couple, like, now I control my camera with this switcher. Like now I control my camera with this switcher thingy, which you can't see because it's strategically off camera. And then I have to set up another camera here so you guys can see what I see from here because it's so sick. Yeah, I have to set up another camera. I'm going to do that later today. All right, let's get back to our next shooter. So Joe Franklin, I hope that brings you value. This is a hit for me. It's a hit. Yes, 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 yes. All right. So next shooter is Juan. Juan says EOS R. Yeah, I already said this. I got distracted. So Juan Herrera shooting with the EOS R 24-105 at 90, F13, 125, ISO 100. Considering this for his portfolio, Juan Herrera. Let's look at it. Juan, get it on. So Juan, this is a no for me, dude. Your photos are too bad. Your photos are way better than we're seeing here in this frame. And the reason is I'm going to say it pretty simply. I'm going to say it pretty simply. It's too contrasty and the light placement isn't right for this girl's skin. I'm going to show you. If you look at her skin, she has big pores. Who has a question for me? She has big pores. What's my B cam? My cameras are both Canon R50s. They're mirrorless cameras. Canon R50s with 16 millimeter lenses. I have two of them. Same setup. So yeah, this for me, it's too heavy on the pores. And here's the vibe. When you're shooting a female and you're lighting them so heavy from the side, it's like, think of putting a pencil in or like a golf tee, wherever the sun is, like that shadow is going to push like directly. The only situation where there's going to be no shadow from the golf tee is if the sun is directly shining down and the shadow pushes on top of itself, right? So lighting a girl from the side, you can see here, number one, this really hard line here. Her eye is shadowing her eye inside here. This hard line here, the line on her mouth here, and also her head is down and pulled back. So it's not extending her jawline, making her neck look long and elegant. She's pulling her neck in and down. Her face is also down, which makes her head look huge up here and really small down here. The Rembrandt light pocket is here instead of catching a little bit of her eye because the light is too high. You can see here, you draw from the shadow here to the tip of her nose. I can see how high the light is and how far. This light placement based on her head angle turning away, it's just too far around. Like, this is just, for me, this is a no. And then the lipstick is sadly the next thing that the lipstick is just no. And your light, based on the way that your light is, you're putting too much shadow down here in the lips. So you actually are losing the lips. And because you're using sharpening or clarity in the retouching, it just makes the pores like so visible. So for all of those reasons, Juan, and again, because I know your photography and I know that you're better than this, like I know that this is older, it's just not the thing. I don't recommend lighting females like you would light a male. And this is like a light for a guy that you're doing with a girl, which only works if she has like 17-year-old skin. I hope that brings you value. That is Juan Herrera. All right. Amond, by the way, please don't clip anything while I'm on this screen. because there is an issue with this screen and it will fail. So if you're clipping, just clip full screen stuff, because the screen share, I just noticed a glitch that I haven't fixed yet, and anything that you clip when I'm screening sharing, it's going to be useless. So just don't. All right, let us get into our next shooter, who is Gary Rishi. Gary says Sony A7 Mark III with a Sigma 85mm 1.4, shot with the ISO 100, shot at ISO 100, 125 at 1.6, 1.6, Gary. Window light. This is the mighty Gary Rishi. Gary. So I definitely see what you're doing here. The 1.4 is too shallow. It's just too shallow. It's too shallow for a couple of reasons. Number one, you can see this eye is what's in focus. This eye is so out of focus. Like, you can see the focus point is just this very narrow center of her face. Now, if this is a small business owner and this is her product, you want this to be so appetizing and beautiful and sellable, which is really hard to do natural light. You have to pick one or the other. And in this case, for me, I would not have shot at 1.6. I would have shot at, like, you can't shoot at 1.6. This has got to be like f4 minimum. I would also use strobe. This is a little distracting. What's happening behind here? The counter, I definitely understand that, but we're not seeing all of the product. And I'm imagining that this is her shop and she makes those. Like, that's to me what it looks like, but I'm not seeing this. Like, this is the money. I mean, she's probably selling hundreds of these per day, if that's actually what is going on here. So, and then the color balance, it's just that natural light, but it's natural light in shade. So the skin tone, it just isn't popping. And this, because her face is so close to this, because her face is so close to this is actually acting as a reflector. And if you look at her skin tone here and look at this, I mean, it's almost like an exact replica, because that's becoming a bounce source. So the plastic chair in the background, like seeing this chair, like there's too many small details here, Gary, that I feel like we're missing. I have to be a little bit harder on you, because I know the level of photography that you can do, and I know that you're trying to endeavor into now doing work for small business. Really be wary of this super shallow depth of field thing that you're trying to do, because it just doesn't work with lifestyle photography. It doesn't work with product photography. I'm going to show you. Let's look at Pascal Shirley. So let's look at Pascal Shirley, who is a great example. And I'm going to pull out food and beverage, and I want you to just look at the feature thing within every one of, I want you to look at the depth of field. So when you're shooting a drink, and again, you're trying to mix it with a portrait. So the person is either completely active, and you can see she's out of focus and the food is in focus. So this becomes like, if you're using shallow depth of field, there's one pizza pie that's totally the main parts in focus, and then the background is kind of out of. So like, if you're using people within the shot, there has to be some sort of dynamicness to make it hit. So, yeah, like this is a person with a beverage. You can see everything is sharpie sharp. So this is, for me, Gary, like, I know what you're trying to do. Another great example is Agalawate. Rohan here we go. So this is another photographer that assisted me for a really long time. And when you look at his work and see like when he, like how he shoots coffee and this kind of stuff, like look at how the product looks. Do you know what I mean? Look at how the product looks. And then I just want to show you again, like the difference, right? So you can see if it's like a shop owner, they're going to be more attracted to this, right? They're going to be way more attracted to this. So, yeah. So I really want you to grab that. And again, Ro assisted me for a couple of years, and like back when he wanted to be a portrait photographer. And Ro's food work is so much better. Like, and again, he's a very capable, competent people photographer who gets jobs shooting people. But I think his product photography is so much better. But you can see he's strong in both areas, and he basically structures his website to be like Things People Motion Campaign, and Things in the Wild and Things in Studio. So that's Ro. Gary, I hope that helps you. I really like, if you're going to be shooting beverage, if you're going to be shooting people with beverage, like you really have to look at references. Like it's so important to be like insane about who you're looking at. So when you have an idea for a shot, you find a reference that will help you make that shot like so much better. I hope that helps you guys. This is Gary Rishi. All right. Carty's getting hungry. Yeah. Oh yeah, by the way, I'm going to play something for you because it's hilarious, and it's just a nice little reminder that this podcast is brought to you by Carty Crew merch.
Every piece you see, designed by the photographer you're currently watching. And let me let you in on a little secret. Meticulously hand-stitched by the arthritic grandmothers of our very own viewers.
Well, what?
This creative community inspired this entire line. Your zeal for artistry, your tireless dedication, and your individuality shines in every stitch and design. This isn't just another piece of clothing, it's a badge of honor for every creator out there. From what I see here, they are mostly just black t-shirts and hoodies, but you do you, boo. You actually want me to read the rest of this script?
Oh my God, who is this guy?
From the nuanced patterns to the vibrant colors, everything has been designed keeping in mind the creative soul that lies within each one of us. Wow, who wrote that? There isn't a single pattern, not one.
Oh my God, leave the commentary.
There is hardly any nuance. But it says here, this merch represents more than just apparel. It's an emblem of our shared passion for creativity. Who wrote this? What absolute twaddle.
Wow, this guy's a great supporter.
All of this stuff is kinda basic, to be honest, but I'll keep that to myself.
Okay.
Let the world know you're a part of something bigger. A photographer on YouTube's clothing collection that he actually has the balls to make a commercial about.
Okay, what is going on?
What I meant to say is, a collective of photographers that celebrates and uplifts every form of creativity. I am aware, as the narrator, I'm not allowed to insert my own narrative. But, holy moly, this is horrible.
Wow.
Join the movement, embrace your creative spirit with Carty Crew merch. And yes, he is really calling this a movement. Be proud of your passion for photography. Be proud of your creative life. If photography is your life, flaunt it. The one paying for this advertisement has asked me to make a toast. Isn't this a podcast? Okay, it'll cost you another 20. Let's raise a toast to every photographer, artist, and creative out there. Thanks for being a part of this journey.
This guy's so
Did
patronizing.
that suit you? That was absolutely ridiculous. Please don't make me read anything like that again.
Back to the show. Hey, Jeff, thank you for joining us. So there is a new merch store, by the way. That is an old spot. I play that just for nostalgia because, you know, it's because my crew love that spot and they love that I say twaddle. Or my AI bot says twaddle. So this is the new Carty Method shop the stuff is completely fly, like really dope. And also secret time, if you click all products, I've hidden the creative collection at the bottom of this. The creative collection is by far the most popular collection of all the stuff that I've done. So if you are looking to cop something that was in the creative collection, like my embroidered hoodie, or the packable jacket from Champion, all of this stuff is here, but you gotta hit all products if you want to catch it, because I only feature a few things on the homepage. All right, merch. By the way, guys, we got 41 viewers and 21 likes. So what is happening here? Can we get some of you who are watching this at home to like tap the like button so this gets pushed out to more people? Can you do that for me? You two, at least. You two can do this, right? You two, you can push the like button. Yeah? Yeah? And not just show me your thumb, like hit the like button, like actually do it. At least I have fun, you know? And by the way, all of the stuff that you're seeing here, like the glitches and the graphics, and like this is done by the viewers who are watching me live. They actually are controlling my stream. It's crazy. Like they actually control my stream. And by the way, if you buy something from the merch store live, your name comes up and blah, blah, blah. It's like, holy shit, this person bought merch. So, and yeah, the crowns next to everybody's name in chat, that's because they're members. You got to hit the join button. And if you want to control my stream and change my lights, like now I have lights in the front and in the, like, oh my goodness, man. Like the setup is so sick. Okay, let's get into Joshua Haney. Joshua says he's working on some new stuff for his portfolio, but this one is from last winter. Shot with the Canon R6 and an 85 millimeter. F2, ISO 100, ISO 100 at 1/200th of a second. All right. This is Joshua Haney. Hello. Here, oh, Joshua, you killed this one, buddy. This is an absolutely, Joshua, this is killer. So good. Like, again, this is the photographer that I know that you are. Like, I know that you're this shooter. Like, Joshua, holy moly, this is bananas. You should be thrilled with this photo, man. So strong. If this was mine, it would be in my book. That's the level of compliment that I'm giving you here. If this was, and again, I've shot this idea in tall grass, depth of field. Like I did this idea like when I was 20 years old, and I'm not trying to take this away from you or take anything away from you, but I just want you to know that you are now like, you have found your stride. You have found your stride now, Josh. This is like, it's funny. This just reminds me of me in my first year of business, shooting for Sherida modeling agency and testing models and going down to Cherry Beach to where this tall grass is and the water, and like getting into the grass with them and shooting with my 85, which I just got. And like, yeah, so this for me unequivocally is a 11 out of 10. This is the smoke, my guy. This is the big brain stuff. This is the work that will literally transform you, that will transcend you into the place that you're like now you're actually like seeing the Matrix. Now you're seeing the Matrix when it comes to your photography. Like this is, I can't even say how fucking great this is, Joshua. You should be thrilled. This is beautiful. Well played. Joshua Haney, everybody. Taylor, what do you think? Taylor?
Yes, sir, yes.
Anna Kaya. Anna says, Hey, Carty, here's a portrait from the dance photography workshop I attended last spring. I think it should work well for my portfolio since I'm targeting creative talent. Let me know what you think. Thanks for your feedback. Nikon D780, 85mm, 125, 3.5, ISO 200. This is the mighty Anna Kaya. Anna, yeah, this is a yes for me. This is a yes for me, and I hope that there's other ideas that you did here because of just the way that this light is so elegant. Now, this girl's skin, I want you to show the difference, and I want you to look at this as well. One, because I want you to see just the difference as to, number one, Anna, I want you to notice how her pores show more because she's being lit from the side, but it's not quite as extreme as it was in Juan's case. I also want you to notice this pocket of light that's actually catching that eye. Great highlights, nice little reflector on this side, which is like reducing the amount of like how dark that shadow goes, and no pretense, like just looking at camera, quite raw. You can see you do have a little bit of these lines here which come from the side light, but it's not quite as like extreme. You also have light here, or this shadow here, which comes from this cross light. Again, you can clean this up with a little bit of burning and dodging. You just dodge that out and dodge that out. That'll bring it back to neutral. But other than that, for me, this is a yes. I like this a lot. Let me show you this as a cover. You can see it's very editorial. It's non-distracting. I mean, I would have placed her so she's hiding this part right here. I would have moved her over so this line came through a little bit more on her, just to tuck that. Also, there's a couple of, like, you can see up here where the set construction is being built, like it's just two very thin walls that are put together. So you can also go in and clean up this and make that like blend better, and just go and clean here to make these edges a little bit more perfect. Take out, fix this paint, blah, blah, blah here. All these little details will make this like even stronger. You can see that also continues down here. These little dips in the paint, like all of that stuff I take out. But everything else, the light on her, this is a yes for me, Anna. This I like. Oops. I like very much. Hello. There we go. There we go. So this is a yes for me, Anna. We're giving you an 11 on this one. Again, like the cross light works here and the placement is almost 100% perfect. So this is like a yes. This is a yes for me. Well done, Anna. Well done. So also these things are switched here. So like the thing that I push here is now here. So I have to go here when I'm used to going here. All right, let's see. We are into my cartel. That's the end of my accelerator members photographs for today. We are now looking at the ones that I call the cartel. The reason I call them the cartel, the Carty cartel, is because they work for me. They work for me. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, their staff, they help. They make it so the Carty method works. They make it so my YouTube channel works. My community works. They make it